Howdy there, and welcome to Mower Mike's Garage. And what have I got here? This here is about a 20-year-old Cub Cadet GT2544. Now, this mower might not look much, but back in the day, this mower was the Cadillac of mowers. This thing is awesome. It's very, very unique, rare mower, and that's why I want to work on it today. So today we're going to show you how to service the transmission on it. Now, you're probably wondering two things. Mike, why do you have this mower like 4 feet up in the air? And I just don't have an answer for you. Sometimes when you spend 150 bucks on jack stands, you just got to use them sometimes and just let them rip. Your other question is like, Mower Mike, there's probably like 100 of these mowers left. Why are we looking at it? Well, we're looking at it because this thing has a very unique transmission on it. I want to show you. It's shaft drive. And the training on this thing is just crazy. It's very, very unique. And, you know, coming from me, I've worked on and played with a lot of trainings my day. And this thing here is, what is it? We got a phone call coming up from up north. Yeah, Carl. You know I'm filming. Yeah. What? Huh. I can't use the word tranny anymore. Well, who called you? YouTube called you? I haven't even released this thing. They're watching. Whoa. Well, that's weird. All right, got you, Carl. No more use of the word tranny. Tranny is out. All right. Well, excuse me. We just got a call from corporate up north. The transmission on this thing is very, very unique. So I just want to show you, it is shaft driven and it's got almost kind of a car transmission going on with a differential. It's just really cool. So let's slide underneath this transmission. Let's get to going on it. All right, next I'm going to show you how to drain the fluid out of the transmission. And oh, hang on just a second. Bear with me. What is that? Is that an old school Thighmaster sitting on the Mower Mike couch? Yes, it is. I tell you what, for those of you with flabby thighs, Thigh-Masters are fantastic. I use mine every morning. But back to business. So before I crawl underneath this thing, I'm just going to go around the old GT real quick, just so you can see how cool of a lawnmower this is and unique. First of all, look at that motor. That motor is not your typical lawnmower motor because it is a Kohler V twin, but it has a horizontal drive shaft coming out the back. So it's got a horizontal crankshaft, which is about 90 degrees different than any other lawnmower I've ever worked on, which is super cool. So you can see that drive shaft connects straight to the motor with some couplers. And as you come around the back, I can see it's got the hump right there for the drive shaft itself. I can see Cub Cadet was doing a little sales job on the drive shaft. But then when you come around back, something really cool. You got your neutral right here, but also, what is this? You have got a transmission dipstick tube, which I have never seen on a lawnmower. So that is something super cool. But, all right, enough funny business. Let's get underneath this sucker, see what we're working with. All right. So I can see right there, we've got the drive shaft coming from the motor. It goes straight to this coupler, hooks to the fan, it goes straight into the transmission. I can see this transmission, it is a Hydrogear transmission. It's got the sticker, so it does have a hydraulic pump, but also it's kind of set up like a differential with a ring and pinion on it. So pretty cool. And it's got a big old filter on it, which a lot of newer transmissions don't. And I know this doesn't seem like much, but it has a drain plug. That is very rare on these lawnmower transmissions. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take that drain plug out. It is just a 3/4 inch. Now, use a wrench. Don't use an impact wrench like I'm doing. I'm just doing this for speed. But damn, she does take out a drain plug quick. Oh, as you can see, we missed. All right, we got that out. All right. As we move on with our riveting transmission video, as you can see, I use the appropriate terminology. We reinstall our 3/4 inch drain plug. Now, when I reinstall it, do not use the freaking impact wrench. And do not use a 3/4 inch wrench because it is a 5/8 inch wrench. Oh man, this is a great video, isn't it? All right, so we go ahead and tighten her up. And you don't want to over tighten these, but you don't want to under tighten them. So I put like a 3/4 of a man strength on there. You know, that's my man strength, so I don't know what status of man you are in life. But, all right, so we got the drain plug situation handled. Now it's next to take off this giant 1990 style filter. Now, I know there's a lot of filter wrenches out there, but I always just go with these gigantic ass channel locks I've got, and they always fit the tool just for the right size. So you can see, wow, this is probably the original hydro filter. I don't see why it wouldn't. This lawnmower's got about 300 hours on it. And one thing you'll notice when you're draining the fluid out of this thing, whoa! That scared the piss out of me. I was just going to tell you, there's about 6 quarts of fluid in this. So it fills up your drain pans. And when you drop about a 6-inch wide 2-pound oil filter into 6 quarts of 20-year-old hydro oil, it does make quite the mess. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and install the new one on here, put a little grease on there, and I'll go ahead and put the link to the correct filter. And hopefully this is it. And you just screw her back on there, and you try to make it somewhat tight. These always hand tight. You don't want to over tight them, but put them pretty good hand tight on there. So with that, you've probably got a mess on your hands, but you should have all the fluid out. And I'll go ahead again, I'll put a link to the filter and these big old Craftsman channel locks I use on pretty much everything around here. So let's go ahead into the rear end of her and put some oil in her. Okay, so we've got all the oil out of said transmission, and now it's time to fill it up. And of course, we get to the big argument of what type of transmission fluid do you use? Well, it's not that simple of an answer, because the manual states it uses some sort of Cub Cadet transmission oil that the part number doesn't exist anymore. Nobody really knows what weight it is. So I'm going to make a suggestion. In hydrostatic gear transmissions, I use 20W50, specifically the Amsoil made for hydrostatic gear transmissions. It works great. I've changed a lot of hydrostatic gear transmissions. But really, I think if you use anything, around a 15W40 type weight in dyno oil, you're fine. It's really not that complex. You're not going 80 miles an hour in this thing. So get ready to start pouring. And if you changed your oil filter on this thing, it should take, about 5.5 quarts to 6 quarts. If you didn't, it's probably about 5. Now, one thing about hydrostatic gear transmissions that are all the same, besides this one, they are a complete pain in the butt to drain and fill. And that's why doing something like this just gets me excited, because I've just got a transmission oil funnel. And we're just pouring it. I can sit here and drink a beer, do anything I want, and just keep pouring transmission fluid oil. So this is a beautiful thing to me. Now, if you've got other types of transmissions, specifically Zeroturn transmissions, I'm the top guy. I've got a lot of Zeroturn transmission videos out there. I probably got like 5 of them. So just wanted to mix it up a little bit and show you an old school transmission, how she works back in the day. Now, go ahead and fill her up, top her off, and I'm not going to waste your time with it. Put about 5 to 6 quarts in there until it's looking good on that dipstick tube. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we're going to lower her down. And I'm going to see how this thing runs, because I have not actually driven this lawnmower before. She's taken a lot of work to get this far. So stick with me for the finale, and let's see what happens. All right, who's ready for the big finale? I want to see this thing run and drive myself. This lawnmower, I've had it for about a couple years. I bought it for $200 a couple years ago. Complete basket case. And I've made a few videos on it, but I've done a ton of work that I haven't showed you guys. I've gone completely through the electrical system, got new valve covers, new fuel pump, cleaned the carburetor, just all sorts of stuff. We redid the front end, and I've never actually driven it before. So I'm going to take this serious. We're going to put my driving earmuffs on. I'm going to put my driving gloves on. And of course, every time you start a lawnmower on TV, you're nervous about starting. You always get a little starter fluid back up here. All right, so let's see. I've got it hot wired, so all I should have to do is crank it. All right, we probably need some choke. Let's choke her. That's not a good sign. Come on. Yeah. Wow, I was a little worried that would go. Once we got her started, she wouldn't move for a second. I don't know what happened. Maybe he's just been sitting for 10 years, had to bleed a little air out. But you see, she runs and drives great. I've got some big ideas for this little lawnmower, so stick with me. And thanks for hanging out. And thanks for if any of you giggled at my middle school training jokes, I really appreciate it. So with that, Mower Mike out. I'm gonna get out of this garage. Check you later.